I'm happy to be inviting the one who would be donning the hat of the moderator, Rishu Sharma, the director and digital evangelist at Birlasoft. You're requested to please come forward. Rishu, I know all of us made this trilogue discussions wait a lot, so thank you for your patience. Thank you very much for walking in. Allow me to please invite your speakers for this session. Milind Khamkar, the Group CIO at SuperMaxWorld. Please welcome Milind with a brilliant round of cheer. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't see all such leading leaders present under a single roof. So please welcome them with all the good energies, with renewed energies. Please welcome Raje, the Group Chief Information and Transformation Officer at Jaquar and Company. Ninad, hi, and a very warm welcome to you. Well, looks like this is going to be a worthwhile one. Rishu, can we request you to take charge, please?
So thank you, Milind and Ninad, for making the time to join us here today. Now, the discussion topic for today is very interesting. We all know that cloud is important. It's bringing the efficiencies, optimization, benefits to the organizations, along with driving innovation and bringing in the business value. Edge computing, on the other hand, bring in the data processing closer to the source, which is where it enhanced decision making. But bringing these two technologies together helps organization in developing or having a hybrid ecosystem that is much strong. It provides centralized power and the localized efficiencies, which is helping enterprises in transforming and driving faster innovation. Now, we'll be discussing this and more today, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get started, Milind, you'd like to introduce yourself, say hi to the audience.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Milind Khamkar. I'm a group CIO from SuperMax.
Thank you. Ninad?
Hi, this is Raje. I'm the group CIO for Jaquar and Company. It's basically a 65-year young organization. We are into bath solutions and lighting solutions, maybe popularly and branded. All of you, all, maybe 50% of all of us may be using our products, hopefully.
Thank you, thanks. So, Milind, starting from you, the topic for discussion today is edge and cloud computing. Now, when we think of these two technologies, talk to us about how do these, cloud and edge computing, they bring together, these synergies that can help transform the business challenges that organizations are facing. What are the modern day shifts that you're seeing in the industry today?
It's not a one question, it's a multiple questions. I think it is important nature of the technology should be understood, which we often missed. One is technologies are always emergent in nature. And second is they are symbiotic. So a single technology by its isolations cannot meet all the expectations of the business and does not produce the result. Same with the edge computing and the cloud computing. My cloud journey started almost a decade back when there are very few cloud providers were exist in India, rather they were entering in India. And most of their sales representative were coming out of the perpetual subscription, perpetual licensing to the subscription model. And since the cloud is evolved a lot, it was started with the elasticity nature, but now grown with the plethora full of applications as well. Cloud is fulfilling our current requirement of the stable infrastructure, secure infrastructure, and also the heavy demand what current technology is demanding, that is artificial intelligence, is the processing power and the storage. But the less utilized technology at this point of time is the edge computing. Because edge by its nature takes the action closer to the data, which means there are very few limited business are adopting the edge. But I see that there is a great potential for the edge, especially for the manufacturing units. The manufacturing, most of the manufacturings are outside the city limit, where the basic infrastructure is a challenge. Some of the manufacturings are also located in the tax haven zone, where it is underdeveloping. We have a manufacturing unit which is in close to Baddi, Dharamshala, where the line of sight itself is under review almost half a year. You can't get the proper connectivity if the towers are not going beyond particular limit. In that scenario, the edge is a good solution for us. because now the demand for action is instantaneous. We can't wait in the batch mode, that data will flow to the central locations and then somebody will drive the decisions and the actions has been taken. It has to be a spontaneous, especially in the manufacturing. The supply chain is extremely complex. We are dealing with inside and outside latencies, which needs to be overcome with the good technology. So I see edge is a future for that. If we have a edge cloud working together, then definitely the new technology like artificial intelligence can drive the success and fruits for the organizations.
Thanks, Milind, and that's the exact segue to my next question to you, Ninad. We're seeing these new age technologies, and Milind mentioned about that, right? AI, 5G, IoT. How do you see these technology can amplify, the power of cloud and edge computing? And do you also foresee, edge AI as a game changer for certain industries or maybe use cases that you're seeing out there?
Absolutely. I think let me kind of address that question. I'll just split these questions and let me try to address it in different formats, right? First and foremost, the value and the amplification itself. Now, I truly believe that the super convergence of AI, 5G, IoT, coupled with our edge and cloud computing, I think it is going to revolutionize our industry. It is already happening. I'll give examples. Now, first and foremost is, at least I can talk about from my organization standpoint, it's all about real-time insights. Now, edge provides us real-time insights. And how do this happen? So we have plants across the globe, yeah? And nowadays, it's a convergence between IT and OT. Now, there are a lot of OT devices in a lot of manufacturing organizations, right? That is where the edge computing is helping and benefiting the entire organization. Now, imagine the plants are at some godforsaken place, right? The plants always are at remote places. I don't know why, but yes. There's less connectivity. So how does one compute, calculate, and run those plants with the limited ITN and extravagant use of OT components? That is where edge computing comes into picture. So whilst we implement edge computing at that specific moment in time, it should be able to, and it does help calculate, compute, and then provide the results at that particular level, right? And then on a batch mode, you can actually go ahead and transfer it to the cloud. So it's a combination of edge and cloud computing. That's first and foremost benefit. That's where the real-time analysis and real-time insights come into picture. The second is reduced latency. Now, whilst we are installing and implementing this edge computing near the devices, the latency usually reduces because the computing is happening right at the, for example, POS, point of sale terminals, right? That is exactly why it benefits, how it benefits. And third, obviously, is the entire security components, right? So we are able to secure from breaches the OT devices with the help of edge computing. It does not allow the breaches to happen within that OT environment. So I think collectively, this entire convergence of 5G, IoT, as well as your cloud computing and edge computing, I think they're coming together to helping in the benefits of at least the industrial sort of sector. The second piece is you spoke about the rise of, I believe, AI, right? Now, let me also talk about the examples of rise of AI. Now, AI is everywhere, to be very honest. Now, if we are not adopting AI, we'll be far, far behind. It's just taken around 3 years, or at the most 3 years, 4 years, for AI to propagate itself into the mainstream as compared to the other internet technologies, right? Now, the classic example is autonomous vehicles. Now, we're talking about autonomous vehicles. What is the primary AI use case for autonomous vehicles? It is all about object recognition, all right, and identification of what are the objects around, in and around it. That is the basic premise of autonomous vehicles. That's how it applies. And that is exactly where AI comes into picture. Without AI, I don't think so autonomous vehicles is even a concept. Now, more and more autonomous vehicles are coming into the mainstream, and that's where I see that rise of AI will help amplify the usage of autonomous vehicles. Second is all about our industrial IoT. Now, we coming from the manufacturing industry, it is absolutely but natural for us to ensure that we implement IoT in the industries. Now, when it comes to IoT, we have to be very careful. One is there are manual interfaces also which are available. And of course, the most dreaded Excel is everywhere for us. So how do we automate that? And that is where industrial IoT comes into picture. I'll give an example. This is an example which we experience within our own organization. So whilst we are into sort of bath solutions, the most essential ingredient for us, I'm not talking about material, but the objective that we have is saving and reduction of water. So how does one achieve that? And that is where the industrial IoT comes into picture. What we are doing is, what we are able to do is we gauge the kind and type and the quantum of water consumption whilst we are sort of building and producing these products, the bath solutions. Even nowadays, we are building this entire lifestyle concept, which is the wellness concept. That is where we build whirlpools. In common terminology, you know this as jacuzzis, right? Now, that is what whirlpool is all about, and that is where the reduction of water consumption comes, or relevant usage of water comes into picture. And that is where we have sort of implemented this entire technology of industrial sort of IoT. It tells us the exact quantum of water which is required for a specific usage time and the period and the count as well. So that is something which we have been able to manage, and it has really benefited us a lot. We're all talking about green, we're all talking about green computing. There are really growing concerns about environment, and water obviously takes the cake here. So we are doing our bit in terms of environment, being environment friendly as well as reduced water consumption. So I believe IoT, industrial IoT, and your autonomous vehicles are the classic examples of AI.
Thanks, Nilad, for sharing this wonderful example. When we look at these technologies, I think one important aspect is convincing the corner office, right? That's always a task with any new technology that comes through. So, Milind, if you could talk to us about, when you look at, the investments in these technologies, cloud and edge computing, how does one prioritize to be able to gain the maximum ROI from these? What are those core parameters that you advise that enterprises must keep in mind when they're looking at these investments?
I think CIO always has to do the balancing act when it comes to the technology adoption. There are metrics, there are calculations, but there is one difficult person to get convinced always is a CFO. He do not spend unless he see money back. And nowadays, the risk is also important for them. So for any new technology, as I said, it's always in the emergent in nature, and it is a symbiotic. So we can't go to the business saying that I want to deploy a technology. We can go back to the business and explain them, make a partner in the journey for the technology stack or technology solution. Now, artificial intelligence is a buzzword. No conference is complete without this word. Digital transformation is always spoken. I don't know what version we are now into. Now, artificial intelligence alone cannot satisfy the business need because it required a strong and stable infrastructure. So, cloud is one of the robust at this point of time. Though it has got pros and cons, it cannot be a single-sided solution for everything. Then comes the data. Data cannot be done, it's at one point. It is a continuous journey. There is internal data which is unused over a period of time. Almost 70 to 80% internal data is still to get used for the better decision making. Third is the algorithm or logic, which take the insight out of this data, whether internal or external. Now, these three combinations are known only to the people who are behind these technologies. But the people who are at the receiving end, the decision maker or the people who are going to give you the fund, they only see the end result. Most of the time, just going to the business asking for a tech sponsorship, it's seen as a tech habits of the CIOs. So CIOs or CTOs or CISOs, there are so many splits of the roles of the technology heading people. So they have to come with the business solution, sustainable business solution. We can't say that we want to do the artificial intelligence or cloud or edge just because people are doing. though we always get pressurized by that. The CEO attends conferences, be in his social network, come back and tell, are we doing anything on the AI? But are we ready for the AI? That's obvious questions which take people as to answer. And a good friend for all these things is a CFO. Because at the end of the day, the fund is with him. Unless he is convinced or he see a risk, does not going to support. So sometimes I feel it is better to report to the finance guy rather than having the independent reporting. There is a benefit of reporting to the finance guy. So for the new technology, I just share the example of cloud adoptions. As I said, a decade back, we started this journey. And the importance of going to the cloud for us was not only the elasticity, but also shifting from CapEx to OpEx. The available security, the fast deployment. When I joined way back in 2015, SuperMax, I have been given the target to implement the ERP. It was a global private equity invested in the fund. They wanted to make sure that business is safe, secure, and lucrative for the next investment. And within a short period of time, I have to do many, many things, which was impossible without having the support of the cloud. Because though cloud was new, but we took the calculated risk of deploying our ERP into cloud, and which has proven over a period of time, even in the COVID kind of situations, we were continuously on. We were never had any stoppage or any disruption. Then the people who helped me in supporting this decision, they are saying, good that we did that. But that's aftermath calculations. But during that time, it was very difficult to convince because all technology benefit cannot be fit into the ROI matrix.
No, well said, Milind. And like you said, with any new technology, it's not about jumping on the bandwagon, but also looking at the readiness, right? And one of the crucial readiness amongst the entire piece is the readiness of the people. And I want you to come to you, Ninad. When we look at the cultural shift or the cultural readiness, so how does one enable the IT and the business team to come together, when you're looking at these new age technologies? There can be cultural resistance, there can be a need for upskilling, reskilling. So, your role as a group CIO, how do you enable all of that?
Absolutely. I think you have hit the nail on its head because for us, and I do believe that implementing technology is the easiest thing to do. The most difficult and the complex pieces is the cultural shifts, bringing the people adopt the technology. So once you implement and install it, it's like a piece of cake for all of us, I'm sure about it. But how does one get the users to adopt it? And that is where the training comes into picture. The upskilling, the cross-skilling, all those elements come into picture. And I do believe that in addition to the focus on the technological working, we have to also focus on the training of all the users. And if we focus on training the users, there will be 100% adoption. And finally, what are we looking for? The technologies, once we implement the technology in the platforms, there has to be takers. Now imagine if we implement this really nice, cool-looking platform, it works fine, it is stable and all that stuff, right? But it is still not getting adopted because we haven't imparted that kind of training to the user community and they're just rubbishing it. So in that, all right, first and foremost, we are humans. We are tuned to resist to change, People do not change. People do not want to change. Although all of us keep talking about change is constant and all that stuff, right? But when it comes to reality, we don't change. We don't want to change. So how do we bridge that gap? And that's where the training comes into picture. Focus on that training aspect. Focus on cultivating that talent. Focus on bringing everybody together in the common interest of the organization. That's where the benefits you'll reap the benefits as such. Now, as an example, we cater to 55 countries in the world. So we are present, our own offices, our own people. Now imagine if we have to implement a technology, and we always implement technology globally. We do not only restrict it to a specific region. There's a reason for that as well. Otherwise, we'll have to maintain a lot of different types of platforms and versions floating around in a lot of 55 countries of the world. So whilst we are doing this, training is tantamount for us, right? So first and foremost, even before selecting the technology, we select the kind and type and magnitude and quantum of training which is required. Then we go ahead and source the appropriate talent. And then we start marrying this entire technology to business. And that is, it has really helped us a lot, to be very honest. It's a reverse way of looking at it, but at least in our case, it has helped us. Now, the second piece in terms of the global cultures, right? When you talk about cultures and globally, there are very different types of cultures. The adoption is different, language barriers come into picture, technological know-how and prowess comes into picture, yeah? Resistance to change from the earlier platform to the new platform comes into picture, right? So we have in fact developed and designed a course within our organization to first tackle this particular problem. So we go ahead, even before announcing the new technology to the entire organization, we first announce the training modules. We first announce how to adopt. Why are we doing this, you know? And what is it in for them if they start adopting this? And only then we talk about technology as such. So for the initial week or so, it's just culture. It's just about training these people. And then we talk about this entire piece. Now, that really has helped us in the following manner. First and foremost, it has helped us in traversing the entire disparate cultures within the entire globe. And the second piece is it has also helped us centralize our maintenance as well. So when it comes to technology, there is obviously maintenance, there is repairs, there is upkeep, there is support, and that is where this entire piece of culture also comes into picture. What we do is, we in fact handpick people from different sorts of different countries, you know, to cater to the local needs as well. So there is a central sort of an outfit, and then you have this regional presences which are able to take care of the localized needs and requirements of the people. You know, so that's how we have been able to tackle this particular situation. But yes, I'm absolutely in agreement, wherein it's a pretty complex sort of world out there, and dealing with people is the most complex element that we face. Rather than, I just want to touch base on Milind, what he was talking about. Yes, earlier, initially, we used to face problems on funds and the CFOs and so on and so forth, but times have changed. CFOs and especially CEOs are now looking up to the CIOs, talking about what next. We want you to kind of implement and show to us the next technology, you know, go ahead and do it, especially from the security standpoint. Gone are the days wherein we used to really beg and borrow, saying that, you know, we want security to come in, and there were no takers for that in the board. Now the board says, you know what the hell are you doing? Where is the security? Where is your innovation? Where is the transformation? We want it from you, and that is a market shift that we're looking at. So that is something which I wanted to just put across to the audience here.
Thanks, Anand. And I've been told the time is almost up, but just one last question to both of you all. What would be, the most important trend, or maybe your prediction for cloud and edge in the, coming 3 to 5 years? What is the trend that you're most excited about, Milind? To leave, our audience with that.
I think the importance of the cloud and edge is continue to grow, though it may not be so much spoken, but it's going to grow for the 3 important technology which I see getting into the business. One is, of course, artificial intelligence, which demands the huge processing power and the storage and the data consolidation. Second is the blockchain, though it was there since long, but I think with the AI and the growing use of the technology, blockchain is one which I see going to get a future advantage. And likely to come, but not yet arrived, the quantum computing, which is again going to require the huge compute power, processing, and it's going to be a game changer as far as the technology space is concerned.
Thanks, Milind. Nad, how about you?
All right, quickly. In fact, one of the elements was quantum from my standpoint, so I'll not talk about it since he's already touched based upon that. So serverless computing, right? Serverless computing is here to stay. Gone are the days where we used to manage truckloads of servers and all. Nowadays, everybody is talking about, in fact, we've already implemented serverless, and especially from the edge computing standpoint, yeah? So that is something which I foresee that in the next 3 to 5 years is not only going to be very tantamount, but it is paramount also in the mainstream. So that's first aspect. Second aspect is this entire piece of AI-driven automation. You know, we are talking about automation, but this time it's all about AI-driven automation, especially as an example. What if I tell you that the entire infrastructure management of servers and the server farms and devices can be completely automated via AI? You don't need humans to do it anymore. And we have gone ahead, fortunately, we have been able to kind of do that. For our organization, we have been able to do this already. And the third being, of course, apart from quantum, the third being green computing. With today's day and age, it's all about the green effect. So how does one, and especially we need cost-effective measures, and especially when you talk about cloud, it's all about data centers, right? So efficient data centers, green data centers, energy efficient data centers is something which we're looking forward to, and that is going to be like very paramount going forward. So these three pieces, one is the AI driven automation, the second is obviously this entire piece of green computing, and the third is the serverless computing.
Thank you. Thanks, Ninad. And thank you to both of you all to be able to make time. So just to leave our audience with, so the esteemed panelists, have their techoscope out. So it is going to be a world of quantum computing, green computing, serverless architectures, and maybe that's something that we'd like to leave you all with a thought to think about. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.